sits in North America, but we rarely get to hear from our neighboring countries down in Central and South America. Even though some speak the same language, they don't always share the same cultural dresses, food, and traditions. Which is why in this episode we will start by learning about 3 Latin American countries, starting with Mexico, Honduras, and El Salvador. This knowledge will be passed down to us by people who were born in those countries and who now reside in British Columbia. I invite you to experience the vibrant culture of Latinos in this local journey through Latin America.
Berenice Diaz-Ceballos has been the General Consul of Mexico in British Columbia, the Yukon, and the Northwest Territories for 6 years. I sit down with Ceballos at the consulate office where she will share her Mexican culture and the many contributions Mexicans have brought to British Columbia.
Right, so let's start with, what is your full name?
Are you sure you want to know my full name? It's a very long one. My name is Ana Berenice Diaz-Ceballos Parada. In Spanish-speaking countries, normally they give you 2 or 3 names, no, besides your last names. That's why my name is a little bit long. Well, I'm the Consulate General of Mexico. I have the honor to represent my country here in BC. If people know what the North American region is, it's Canada, then the United States, and we are the neighbors of the United States. To the south, we have Guatemala and Belize, and we're located in the Pacific Rim and also to the Atlantic with the Gulf of Mexico. Well, in the case of Mexico, Mexico is organized as a federal republic comprising 32 states. Well, the capital city of Mexico is Mexico City. There are where the main powers are, but there are other very important major urban areas such as Monterrey, Guadalajara, Puebla, Toluca, Tijuana, Ciudad Juárez, and León. These are very known cities because they are industrial ones, most of them. The 2020 census of the National Institute of Statistics and Geography indicated that the total population in Mexico is 126,040,024 inhabitants. So you can imagine it's a very large population that we have, and also we have a lot of population living in the United States, no? And also here in Canada. According to the Ministry of Culture of Mexico, there are 71 indigenous people throughout the country. Many of them are Nahuas, Mayas, Zapotecas, Mixtecas, Otomís, Totonacas, just to mention the larger ones. Well, as official language, we only have Spanish, but I can mention you that there's 1.5 million people that speak Nahuatl. The third most spoken language is Maya, with 800,000 people in Mexico. And we are trying to preserve those languages because it's part of our history. For more Mexicans live abroad are in the United States. Canada has become the second country where more Mexicans live, and we're talking about in all Canada maybe around 125,000 people living abroad from Mexico. And I think the contribution that Mexicans make is really huge. One of the largest contributions is culture. Also, we are an important partner in trade and investment with Canada. We bring 25,000 temporary workers to all Canada that they have made a very important contribution not only to agriculture but for the supply chain of food for Canadians and for the rest of the world, because Canada is the 5th largest exporter of food to the world. And well, a lot of tourists. I can tell you that there's Mexico like a lot Canadians. You have wonderful places to visit. You have the skiing that we don't have in Mexico, but Mexicans like a lot doing those kinds of outdoor sports. One of my preferred dishes is pozole. Also chilaquiles, enchiladas. It's such a variety. Well, Mexico is a biodiverse country, so we have a lot of grains and very important nutritious food.
Paula Hine is the owner of Salsa and Guacamole and is partnered with her husband, Erickson Hine. Their goal is to deliver authentic Mexican food through their restaurant.
I'm going to introduce you guys a very popular dish in Mexico, which is called mole, and I'm going to make enmoladas for you guys. The history of mole is quite interesting. So the city where it was made is called Puebla, a city in Mexico. In the 17th century, a nun, in a rush to make something to eat, she just found a few different ingredients and she put them together and she created this type of curry. So now it's like our main culinary popular dish from Mexico called mole. Actually served in many of the very important events in Mexico, like weddings or like big birthday parties and everything, and people serve that dish. And the ingredients is really interesting because it's made out of some nuts, it's got some fruits, it's got way many spices, and it's got chocolate in there. So my mom was born in a city named Puebla, and it's been in my childhood, in my just growing up, pretty much. I've been eating mole since ever, and my grandma, for instance, she started like amazing recipe, and she will pass it on generations. And my whole family on my mom's side is from Puebla, so I'm like really familiar with the dish, and we will have it in like really special events like weddings or like really nice birthday parties. So yeah, it's actually something very very special and touchy in my life because of that. Behind every dish in the restaurant, there's always like, I'm behind every single recipe, and everything that we make here, I'm always making sure it's being done with my recipe and the way I like to make the food. Yes. Yes.
Yori Mireles is a Mexican dancer in British Columbia. She's showcasing El Terno, which is the dress from the state of Yucatan. El terno is most used as a party dress for the mestiza women. Mestizo or mestiza is the word to describe someone in Latino America who has white European and indigenous descent. Through the years, the dress has had many changes. The indigenous women's dress was lengthened to the feet, and then came the addition of the huipil to cover the chest. The huipil is a short square shirt embroidered by hand to express the wearer's ethnic identity. The golden rosary, long chains, and earrings are worn to show the woman's status in society.
Our country is most known for mariachi, for the tequila, for the food, for the culture, for touristic places. And believe me, Mexico is so diverse a country. And many of the beaches, we have places wonderful like Los Cabos, Ixtapas, Cihuatanejo, Puerto Vallarta, Cancun. They're, believe me, lovely places. But we not only have the beaches, we also have colonial cities that are very, very important. Well, the largest one is Mexico City, no? That we have a lot of museums, restaurants, places to visit, and places like Zacatecas. And well, if you go to the south of the country, you go to Mérida. But I can tell you that there is a site for every people that wants to go to Mexico. They will enjoy it a lot and they will have a great time there.
Representing the country of Honduras is Mariela Venegas Bohen, who has been living in British Columbia for 4 years with her child and husband. Mariela will share a bit of Honduras wonders and the recipe of the dish which reminds her of home.
So I was born in a community 2 hours away from the principal city, that is Tegucigalpa, and it's called Cedros, Pueblo Nuevo Cedros. My country is located in Central America, in the center of Central America and the center of Latin America. So we call it the heart of Latin America, the heart of Central America. So it's a beautiful small country with only 112,000 square kilometers, so it's very small. In Honduras, we call our provinces departments, so we have 18 departments and 128 municipalities. The capital city of Honduras, we actually have two, but the first one is Tegucigalpa. It's a very crowded and noisy city surrounded by very small village, very colorful and full of culture and traditions where you can go to enjoy every weekend. And we also have the second capital, which is we call it the industrial capital, that is San Pedro Sula, and this is where you can find the industries. It's where we have everything related with productions. We are a combination of Spanish, European people, and indigenous from Honduras. They are natives. So we have about 9 ethnic groups, and they are all living along our country, and they have their own traditions and their own culture. They also speak their own language. Our country's currency is the lempira. Lempira is in honor to our hero Lempira, who defended our country from the Spanish invasion, and he died defending our country, so our currency is honoring his name. So baleadas, it's a very representative dish from Honduras. We call it a 5-star dish, and it's a dish that everybody can enjoy. Baleadas are made from tortillas and tortillas de harina, so flour tortilla. The taste and feeling will vary from place to place, and it's going to depend of each person. We have 2 types of baleadas. The first one is the original, that is a simple baleada. It comes with beans, cheese, and sour cream on the top. And the second one is the special baleada. It has more ingredients and is bigger and more tasty. And usually people eat this baleada for lunch or dinner because it's more like complete For the bigger baleada, we use beans, meat or steak in pieces. We add cheese, we added sour cream, cheese mole, and we also add a little bit of avocado, and that's a special baleada. Baleadas is a very delicious dish that everybody in Honduras can enjoy and eat.
What is a phrase that is commonly used in your country?
We say macanudo. It means that everything is nice, everything is okay, that we are nice. It involves everything. Our national dress, we have a lot of dresses in my country because every department has a different representation. And all are based in their ethnic community. Many people don't know about our country, so they are missing our tourist attractions.
Honduras has mesmerizing tourist attractions, including its coral reefs, as they are part of the larger Mesoamerican reef system, which is the second largest barrier reef system in the world. Honduras also has a rich biodiversity of plants and an abundance of tropical forests.
The Maya ruins that are in the west part in our country is also very, very touristic and safe place to visit, and it has been very visited in the last years.
Cesar Augusto Orellana is the Consul General of El Salvador in British Columbia. I sit down in an interview with Orellana at the consulate office where he will share a few facts from El Salvador.
The Republic of El Salvador is on the Pacific coast of Central America, neighbored by Guatemala and Honduras. El Salvador has 14 provinces, which we call departments, with 262 cities or municipalities, all with their own city hall. The capital city of El Salvador is San Salvador, where 50% of the country's population located. The population of El Salvador is 6.5 million of people. There are different ethnic groups in my country. Mestizo 85%, and the rest are Europeans, indigenous, and Afro-Salvadorans. Spanish is the official language in El Salvador, but Nahuatl is the indigenous language that has survived in small communities. El Salvador has two official currencies, the American dollar since January 2001 and Bitcoin since September 2021. Pupusas are the most recognized typical food of El Salvador. These are tortillas like pancakes made with corn flour and can be filled with a variety of savory fillings, including cheese, beans, beef or pork, and more. Delicious.
Mabel de Medina moved from El Salvador to Canada 34 years ago. She's a special education assistant, and her hobbies include painting, writing short stories and poems, creating art, and decorations. Mabel resides in Surrey, BC with her family, where she enjoys bringing a bit of her Salvadorian culture to her community. You can find her crafts on social media as Mabel Soto and beyond.
Today I'm going to be making pupusas, which is the staple dish from my land, El Salvador. The ingredients can vary depending on the people's choice. The main ingredient is corn flour, but the filling could be cheese, pork, fried beans, and some people prefer to have some vegetable like squash, flowers, or loroco flowers. The main corn we have in El Salvador is white, yellowish corn, but some people also might like the blue corn they call maíz negrito, and the flavor is almost the same, it's just the texture, the color that varies. The process for us here is easier because we just have the flour already made just to mix with water. Once we made the flour, the dough, we can cook the meat, which is called the chicharron. Also, we can fry the beans and grate the cheese, or we can use grated mozzarella cheese. Here is easier. In El Salvador, the process is taking longer because people sometimes had to even cook the corn kernels, bring it to the mill, the molino, and then make the dough, and everything is gonna be from scratch. We can grab a little bowl of the dough. I make a little hole like a well inside, then I put the filling, I close it, and then you have the process of patting, like patting a cake, and then you grill it on the comal or the grill until it's ready. People like pupusas for breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime. You can have a party with pupusas, and I don't think people get tired of eating that. I have La Piedra de Maíz is a miller that people use in the countryside, and it's a stone mill made of volcanic rock. And they have it in different shapes. Where mine is very small, is for spices, to grind spices. We also have the carao. Carao is a tree in El Salvador, and every summer they give us very rich flavor fruit. It's very rich in iron, and then we made a special beverage from them. We also have the corn husk and corn kernels that we plant here in Canada with my husband, and we dry those grains for the next crop. Well, in El Salvador, we had the Pipil tribe, Los Pipiles, and the corn was the sacred grain for the Mayans and Pipil people. And what is known now to be El Salvador was the Pipil land. This is our sacred grain, and even in the Popol Vuh, the book, the Popol Vuh, they talk about the creation of the men of corn. So for us, the corn is something sacred. So therefore, our pupusas, our corn, has the legend behind our culture. In the 80s, we have a civil war, and many people had to immigrate to different countries, Australia, United States, Canada, Europe. So people brought with them the culture, and now pupusas are known all over the world. Even in Italy, now pupusas can compete with pizza.
El Salvador has several slogans. The main is God, Union, Liberty. One that is frequently used is El Salvador is small in size but big in heart. Another often used in tourism is Impressive El Salvador and the 45 minutes country because all the tourist attractions are close.
A few tourist attractions include El Tunco, which is a popular surfing spot just 50 minutes from the international airport of El Salvador. Even though an active volcano, the Santa Ana volcano is a 2-hour climb and is regularly visited by foreigners. Mozarán Plaza is what many locals call Parque Central, which means Central Park in English. At the heart of San Salvador, the park gives a closer look at the country's colonial past.
I like a lot of embroideries, and our First Nation people embroider a lot. So this is part of our culture, and I feel proud. I love colors. To me, colors give me life and make me show who I am, makes me feel happier. So therefore, every time I wear colors, embroidery, I'm just bringing my culture to light.
This is just a glimpse of a vibrant culture. Join us next time, where we will highlight a few more countries in this local journey through Latin America.